And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week. I don't know, Daniel. DBSH, yo, I think Beal's got a more of an open slot with the Clippers, but we could discuss that. Actually, on the back end, we were going to discuss some of the latest Lakers news and rumors. Whoever's jumping on the show with me here, so we'll discuss the Beal option here later in the show. But it is, of course, Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from the Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. JSJ, I'll tell you here in a second. Yes, I have seen Superman, and if you are a member of the Lakers Fast Break, you get my thoughts on Superman even before I go ahead and share it on the Pop Culture Cosmos this week, and before I share it this weekend. You know, if anybody wants to ask on this channel, if they go see it and they want to share thoughts with me, I'll let you know. But right now, there's an embargo for members only of the Lakers Fast Break. I have written out my entire review of the Superman movie, so go ahead and catch it if you're a member for just $2.99 a month right there for you. But I do host, of course, the Pop Culture Cosmos 2 times a week. Really big numbers so far lately on Apple Podcasts, so I cannot thank you enough for both the Lakers Fast Break and Pop Culture Cosmos. So go ahead and catch them whenever you can right there for you. Pop Culture Cosmos, indeed. But also as well, I want to go ahead and give a big shout out to Lakerholics. So funny because I got one of those spam emails. I really need your help. I really need your help. Just one of those generic, vague, I really need your help. But I'm going to bring it up here, guys. And you tell me if this doesn't throw you off. Those who know Laker Tom know his last name is Wong. So it was just the normal, I really need your help, but I would appreciate you responding back, blah, 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 and all that. You know, those normally you toss that out, right? But when it said, best regards, Mrs. Lajinska Kirana Wong. And I'm thinking to myself, is that Laker Tom's wife? So I texted Jamie. Jamie, is this the name of Laker? I don't want to disturb Laker Tom. You know, I don't want to give him a heart attack or anything like that. Or could something happen to him? Because what's going on? He's like, I don't know. Might just go ahead and ask Tom. Go ahead and ask Tom. So I asked Laker Tom, do you know who this person is? And he replied back, have not a clue. So thank goodness everything is okay with Laker Tom. And as you saw on his Twitter, he's back to being Laker Tom with his trades. Yeah, those are some of the things we'll discuss as well later on in the show. But go ahead and check out the Lakerholics, Lakerholics.com. I've mentioned Joe Soro and his channel and his playback channel and Empire Jeff TV right now and his channel covering the Lakers and a certain team in blue that is the world champions, that are the world champions who have not been that successful lately, losing 7 in a row. Sorry, but you want to go ahead and check out their angst, go ahead and check out the Joe Soro channel and also Empire Jeff TV, indeed. But yes, actually, Superman will be out here tomorrow. I believe you guys can start seeing it. I got to see a special screening of it, so I was very blessed and thankful for that. But yes, I want to go ahead and mention that if you get a chance, also as well support Stone Hansen, who I guess is not in love with certain players the Lakers may be interested in, certain players going on the Lakers team. Find out what that is when you go ahead at report_court on Twitter. Yeah, it's very interesting reading lately. Also as well at Alfred Esmond. I know he's working hard. I'm really rooting for the kid. I hope he does well. Really working hard in the journalism aspect of, you know, my background as well. So really rooting for the kid at Alfred Esmond on Twitter. And of course, my good friend Legend 350 on Twitter also as well, but also I got Next Sports Media, all these great people. Of course, DBSH again. Yo, he's doing some 2K streams. I see what you're doing, my friend. I've seen what you're doing. 2K streams. Go ahead and check it out today. DBSH, all these great people, all these great places, but make sure you like and subscribe to them and like and subscribe to us. Our social media as well. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on all these other places, except for TikTok, because Joe got us banned there. So go ahead everywhere else and go ahead and like us, follow, and subscribe to us right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. I got to be back on that too, Greg. Yep, absolutely. I don't know how you worked the trade that you had Jokic on your team, and then I remember him getting hurt for you when you was on the Lakers. So is that a precursor, as we like to say on the show, to what may happen where Jokic, I guess, who earlier this week uh, did not want the extension offered to him. Now, mind you, he's going to get paid $80 million more if he just accepts it next year. But what if he doesn't accept it next year? Goes on the Lakers. Is that a precursor of him getting injured with the Lakers? We'll have to wait and see if that plays itself out over the years to come. But truly appreciate you joining us. It is Gerald Glassford. Hopefully I'll be joined. Sean is on the freeway. I talk always about the madman from Toronto. He did get off the Toronto traffic. Well, he's not off the Toronto traffic yet. You know that little intro I always give him. He is stuck in Toronto traffic. Hopefully he can get back here real soon to go ahead and come on the air. Joe, I don't know where he's at. He'll probably just materialize somewhere into thin air over here in a second. So we'll go ahead and make sure we got you covered right here. But I wanted to go ahead and talk to you guys because I haven't been on the show a couple days. I haven't been on the channel because Monday was kind of boring. Nothing really going on. And to be quite honest with you, and Tuesday, of course, I was at the Superman. By the way, big shout out to Sports Baby for nailing down the channel on playback. Truly appreciate you heading that up for me. And I know that Xbox will not like me complimenting Sports Baby, but I got to go ahead and do it since he was heading up the channel, I believe, in turning on the game for you guys on playback. Tomorrow, I will be back as the Lakers and the Dallas Mavericks go ahead and square off in the first game of the Vegas Summer League. JSJ, I do plan on going to at least one game. I don't know which game yet. I don't know which day yet. It depends comps I get. If not, I'll just go ahead and buy tickets straight up. I got to go ahead and reach out to some of my contacts as far as guys I have to see there. So I'd like to go ahead and do that. But yeah, I'll be going to at least one game here usually. I usually go to 1 or 2 days, and definitely would like to go ahead and do that and see that live. Because again, you see things at Vegas Summer League you don't see on camera. You see how hard the guys work out and practice beforehand. You see how hard the guys work out as far as just off the court things. You see how they interact, and then see certain habits that are good and not so good as far as what may pretell for the future for these kids. But it is Summer League. DBSH says LeBron, Luka, and Jokic would definitely bring a championship. Yes, indeed. And I'm hoping not just in 2K, but I don't think that'll ever play itself out, my friend, because, LeBron, that situation may not get prettier as time goes on. And the fact that he is only on 1 more year and Joe is ready to kick him out the door. I don't think that we will ever see this lineup together on a basketball court, unfortunately, in our lifetimes, as far as for the Lakers anyways. And I'll just say that. But it is, of course, the Lakers fast break. No, JSJ, I'm not but I will give him credit for the first game he had on, that he played, which was the second game for the Lakers. He got 10 points, 10 minutes, looked pretty solid. Yes, of course, yesterday, the Lakers played a game against the San Antonio Spurs. I got a chance to check it out after the fact, early this morning. And again, pretty solid effort coming back to squeeze out the 89-88 victory. Dalton Knecht with 13 points in the fourth quarter, looking more like the Dalton Knecht we know. Still, defensively, it's a little bit challenging. I'll just say that for now. But thank God the kid getting some confidence, going 9 of 18, 4 of 8 from 3, getting that 13 points in the fourth quarter. But it was Darius Bazley playing for his NBA life with 27 points, 13 rebounds, 2 block shots. You got to give the kid, he's been playing really well all 3 games. Bronny James, 1 of 5. Yeah, JSJ is their favorite player. Unfortunately, did not do so well in 15 minutes. He did better on a shorter period of time in the second game. But yes, 1 of 5 for Bronny. He is advertised tomorrow night, 5 p.m. It'll be on playback. It will be the Dallas Mavericks with Cooper Flag and also Bronny James. I may or may not go to that one because that was, of any of the games during Summer League that the Thomas and Mack Arena gets close to a full, it never sells out, but it gets close to it. It will be. Yes, right there. Johnny said, did the Lakers sign Marcus Smart? No, to Laker Tom's chagrin, because Laker Tom has included him in several mock trades. They have not signed Marcus Smart as of yet. So I'm hoping that day won't come unless it's a buyout situation. And if that's the case, if it is a buyout situation, then we'll have to go ahead and accept it for what it was. But there wasn't much activity on the free agent front today. Jordan McLaughlin actually was a solid player back in the day for Minnesota, but last year he split it with the Spurs and the Kings. But yeah, 1 year, $3 million for him. Of course, Devin Booker, he got an extension. He's now playing through 2030 there. Got $145 million, which is good money when you can get it for a 2-year extension for him. So yeah, again, another not too busy day for the NBA, but tomorrow I think everybody's gearing up for the Vegas Summer League. Looking forward to it again. Depends on when I can get my comps in, or you know what, if I just feel like it, if people hit me up on the DMs today, I'm going to be there. I'm just going to go ahead and I'll just buy some tickets and there you go. But yeah, I'm not too far away from the Thomas and Mack Arena, so I'll just go ahead and go there. But it's 110 degrees out there, everybody. So you got to remember, one of the bad things and good things about the Thomas and Mack Arena, and also as well the Cox Pavilion, which are adjacent to each other. There's actually, you don't have to go outside to go from one to the other. You actually goes inside. I've told you that, guys, that story with Tristan Vucevic, that was when he splashed water all over me while washing his hands. That was the bathroom that was adjacent to the Cox Pavilion that is inside right next to the Thomas and Mack Arena. But anyways, I'm just going to say that, yeah, it is 110 right now here in Vegas. You step inside the Thomas and Mack Arena, bring a jacket. That's the first thing I'm going to tell you. Doesn't matter if it's 110 degrees outside. Bring a jacket because it is frighteningly cold. UNLV, I know it's an old arena. It's an older building. They pump the AC in that arena. Oh, that's just like, and everybody just complains. But then they go outside and then they complain some more about the 110 degree weather. So what do you want? But yes, if you are headed to Summer League, give me a heads up. LakersFastBreak@yahoo.com. I would love to go ahead and meet you, and I'll come out there. It doesn't matter if I'm going to the games or not. I will come out there. I'll meet you. And I'd be glad to go ahead and take a photo, whatever you want. Just spend some time, chat with you, and you know what? I might even catch the game with you. So if you're going to Summer League, let me know. Lakers Fast Break at yahoo.com. But again, heading into Las Vegas, I wanted to go ahead and preview some of the things that went on, especially after last night's 89-88 victory with the Los Angeles Lakers winning on a last-second tip-in by Darius Baisley, who is playing for his NBA life. And at 25 years old, I just looked it up, 25 years old, Cole Swider, who I believe is 26, DJ Stewart, who has bounced around, these guys have got to continue to look good in order to try and at least get a two-way from the Lakers or someone else, because their livelihoods depend on it. They have been searching all these guys continuously. Darius Baisley, though, was a first-round draft pick. He did start quite a few games originally for OKC in their not-so-good years. He had chances with other teams. He is on the outside looking in. Cole Swider's on the outside looking in. DJ Stewart, Serge Jabari Rice. All these guys are coming to Vegas on a mission. And it's not just, again, something that they have to go ahead and they do all the time. They play well enough. They get a look, they get a job in the G League, or they'll get a 10-day here, or maybe even a two-way at some point in time if they're lucky, or China is going to come calling, or Europe. These guys are dreaming the big dream and trying to get themselves a actual NBA contract. So with that, I'm looking forward to seeing if the Lakers will do some damage and get some wins under their belt. And if Dalton Knecht, after last night's performance, can take this and play alongside these guys with some confidence and defend. That's what I'm looking at. It's not the three-point shooting, because that comes back around, and we've seen how shooters are. They're just going to keep shooting and until it goes in. You know, he's got the stroke. We know this. Can he defend at least a little bit better or with more force? Can he cut down his turnovers and mistakes on the offensive end? That's what I'm looking for with Dalton Knecht. I really hope that he can take this advantage of these next few days and really, really find some semblance of a defensive platform for him to be able to take that into camp going forward here into September, October, that type of deal. So what are your thoughts? What are you looking forward to? Bronny James, again, was not impressive at all last night, but was impressive in his first outing. What will we see from Bronny James, going in Las Vegas? The bright lights are going to be on him and Cooper Flagg. He is being advertised as the marquee player. It's not Knecht. It's not any of the other guys. It is Bronny James. So we will go ahead and find out if that's going to be the case. Johnny says, I'm telling you, Darius Bazley is better than Vando. I'm not going to argue on that one, Johnny, but the problem is Vando has a guaranteed contract. Darius Bazley has no contract. He's trying to play for a contract. He is still slight of build for a 6'9" player that plays probably best at the center position. So I don't know how much you're going to get from him. He's never shot well enough to be a stretch guy, in low 30 percentile range at best at times. And that's not going to get it done for him. But the effort is there. The athleticism is there from Darius Bazley. Right now I say it's best for him. And I don't know, he doesn't want to hear this because he's heard this many times before. Now that he's on the outside looking in, with most of the roster spots already taken up, it's the battle for trying to get a two-way, trying to get yourself to a camp invite, whether it's with the Lakers or someone else. So we'll see how much he can do. But I'm not arguing with you, Johnny, at all in regards to this. Now, you can take it a little bit of a grain of salt, because these guys are playing sometimes against players that are not NBA caliber in some occasions. Darius Bazley, some of the guys that they've been playing against, some of the guys he's been posting up on, some of the guys he's been making moves on are not NBA players. Let's just put it out there, okay? We've seen these guys. Some of these guys are just playing for a shot at Europe, a shot at the G League, a shot at overseas somehow to try to get themselves regular contracts somewhere else. But when it comes right down to it, I think that there are players out there that like Darius Bazley, like Cole Swider, who are right on the fringe of being regular NBA players, but they're just not doing enough. In fact, with Cole Swider, almost an automatic from three-point range. Nobody's questioning that. Nobody's ever questioned that. But can he get you the effort on D? Can he rebound effectively for a guy his size? And right now, I don't see those aspects of his game really marking himself up unless you really fall in love with his shooting, which, again, a team may take a flyer on with a two-way or whatnot. Maybe it'll be the Lakers, maybe it'll be someone else, but we'll have to wait and see. Kurt Harris says, yeah, basically is playing against Summer League talent. He's looking good now, but we know what happens. Again, he had himself, Kurt, a position where he was a first-round draft choice, I believe. He was starting on OKC. Mind you, was in their bad years again. I'll say it again. But he was a player that had contract at the NBA level, and he let it slip away. He didn't work on the things he needed to work on enough to improve to stay in the league. He knows that now, But I think he looks back on it and says, "Oh man, I wish I would have done something differently here or there to keep myself in the league." Because getting back into the league, as you know, Kurt, as you know, Blue, and thank you so much. Truly appreciate it. Hit the like and subscribe, everyone. Cannot thank you enough for doing so. He knows that it is so difficult once you get pushed out of the league to get back in a regular fashion. Yeah, you'll get a sprinkle of a 10-day here or a cup of coffee there, but when you're hit 25, like Darius Basley, when you hit 26, like Cole Swider, you're getting close to the point where you are who you are. The NBA sees you as they see you, and that's not going to change. So sometimes it might be an injury to another player that might get you that opportunity. Sometimes you're just going to have to try and improve things to get better in order to go ahead and get you there. So this is going to be a very big key for both Cole Swider and Darius Basley. And I expect those guys to play pretty good, even though the caliber of players, because they'll be playing against draft choices, they'll be playing against more seasoned players. They'll be playing against second, third year players and whatnot more often in these upcoming games. I have a feeling they'll still give you that effort, and I'm wishing both of them well. I'm wishing DJ Stewart, who's also bounced around, well. I think that kid definitely has a lot of things that he needs to showcase. So I'd rather go ahead and see those guys play a lot of time. But Dalton Knecht has to focus on the defense. So we've seen that the shots going to be there eventually, like it was last night, but he has to focus on his defense. If he can start guarding at least at an acceptable level against some of these more athletic players, man, that's going to do him a world of good and possibly more minutes. Well, just by default, the fact that the Lakers bench is really suspect, once again, he will get opportunities, but can he go ahead and turn those opportunities into regular minutes under JJ's system? We'll have to wait and see. DBSH says Kleber is getting playing time, maybe, but probably not a lot. Again, Kleber has to look a lot better. I know that he had been off for several months, just coming off the foot surgery. JJ threw him in there. Again, that was a very questionable thing to do, is throwing Kleber in there just cold like that. Coming off the injury, hadn't been played in months really, and you just threw him out there seeing what could happen. Again, not the wisest of decisions in my opinion, but I think he was at a breaking point because Jackson Hayes just wasn't giving him what he wanted. I'm hoping that Knecht can play at the level that we are hoping that he can go ahead and connects, not just offensively, because we know it clicks offensively and he has really good games and can score at a very good level, but defensively, just be the guy that they don't target. If you defend well enough that you're not the guy that they target on the defensive end, I think that would be just a mile above what he was last year, and as one of the worst defenders in the NBA. And I'm hoping that will change. Again, Kurt, like you said, you hope DK finds his flow in Vegas. Consistent games on the offensive end, sure, but I'm more looking at his defense. And again, I'm hoping that the kid finally puts the past, the trade, and all that stuff behind him and is able to go ahead and finally put things together for the rest of his career. Because he, like Cole Swider, he, like Darius Basley, is in his mid-20s. So he is almost essentially who he is as a basketball player. And I'm hoping that if there's any improvement left, a lot of that will come on the defensive side, because I really love to see him stick in the NBA as a player, whether it's with the Lakers or they utilize him in a trade somewhere else. Johnny says that Dalton can only play small forward. He's too slow. Yeah, he is. He's not athletic enough. He doesn't move his feet well enough. He's not based. You see, he stands up taller than most players when he's on his defensive sets. It's kind of a problem. And I'm hoping I'm assuming after the first two games where he stunk it up, somebody sat down and talked to him. I mean, if you're the Lakers organization, somebody had to have sit down and talked to him about what his goals should be in summer league. And I'm hoping he took it to heart And I'm hoping that's why we saw the change as far as productivity from him on the offensive end, but giving the effort defensively as well. It's if he gives the effort and plays with some kind of force and not passiveness, I really am hopeful for the kids' long term future. JY says, "Why no perimeter upgrade from the Lakers? There are defensive liabilities from the starting 5G." JY, your guess? Well, I don't. Okay, according to the rumors, the reports, the key is centered around the 2027 season. Whether you want to say the Lakers, but with the fact that they did get DeAndre Ayton on the cheap, and that they did get what I'm hoping will be a solid player as far as who they announced yesterday, as far as the Lakers addition. So I'm hoping that both of those guys will be able to go ahead and get the job done. But you're right. The perimeter defense is not the greatest, even with Jake LaRavia being added into the mix. Still got a lot of issues. Their bench is still suspect. I mean, you took out DFS and you put in Jake LaRavia, and you're hoping that he takes that third season, which he dramatically improved, and builds upon that going forward with the Lakers. And then also DeAndre Ayton, that he finally takes this seriously and understands that he has to have a breakout year in order to get a nice big paycheck next summer. But to be honest with you, JY, those rumors and innuendo about the Lakers targeting 2027, I know Jeff has mentioned it. I know Joe has mentioned it. It's becoming louder and louder. Does that mean that the Lakers are not going all in on this season? Like, I don't know, half-ass or just a gap year, or whatever you want to go ahead and say it. I mean, those are things that they needed to address and shore up, and they didn't. We had talked all summer about what they needed to trade as far as what they had in assets with all those expiring contracts. They want to keep those. It's clear they want to keep those expiring contracts on the books, and they may be prepared to let Austin Reeves and Rui Hashimura walk out that door for nothing because they want to keep the cap space open in 2026 and even more cap space open in 2027. Johnny says Gerald King signs Drew Eubanks and Dario Saric. Do you think they're better than Alex Len? Johnny, I think you are better than Alex Len based off of what we saw with the Lakers uniform. That's basically what I'm going to say right now. Drew Eubanks and Dario Saric. I don't want to be mean and say stiffs, but gosh, I got to be mean and say stiffs. Probably the best way to say it. Alex Len was definitely a stiff for the Lakers during his period of time. Dario Saric was such a disappointment in Denver. They stopped playing him and they couldn't get him out of Denver fast enough. Drew Eubanks is just going to bounce around. He had a little bit of promise, but he's just bouncing around at this point in time. So they are not by leaps and bounds better than Alex Len, but Linsanity, I think, is pretty much dead in the NBA for now, Johnny. Unfortunately, unless he's just playing in the G League and is because he's 7'1", somebody will need a center due to injuries or whatnot, and they'll get him because he's 7'1". Although I would go for Moses Brown, Kai Jones, or so many other 7-footers that are still available out there before I'd go back to Alex Len, because that was Johnny. That was ugly. That was absolutely ugly. And Alex Len looked really outclassed there. And for a guy that was a lottery choice, a lottery pick, it was very, very disappointing. But yes, Mission M24, they did have the press conferences yesterday. Ayton showed up in a clean suit, looked very impressive. Jake LaRavia showed up in the Lakers windbreaker. I kind of like that windbreaker. It was nice, kind of nice. He was kind of remarking at the fact he saw himself in the big poster photo right there. I think that was the case. But they all said the right things. I'm 24. So great to be playing with Luka, et cetera. And Ayton, it was remarked because Ayton talked specifically about playing with Luka primarily and what he can do for the team. So it's the focus was on playing with Luka. Again, if they're really going to click as a duo, let's compare it to the Clippers with Ivica Zubac. I know JSJ loves it when I go ahead and drops the Zubac, but let's say Harden and Zubac, because Harden came to the Clippers and really leveled up Zubac's pick and roll play. And overall, Zubats took that and ran with it. One of the most improved players of the year. Defense, you know the story about that. But I'm hoping that we will see something similar from Luka and Aiden, and that they can create that chemistry and really increase the number of lob attempts that he gets DeAndre Ayton over the course of his career. Because DeAndre Ayton hasn't always gotten the lob attempts over the course of his career. So hopefully this will increase it. Hopefully Ayton will take this seriously, because is this going to be one of his last chances if he doesn't perform with the Lakers? We'll have to wait and see. I mean, somebody will always take a shot at a former number one pick for at least quite some time, until his early 30s. But will he be able to go ahead and get himself a nice fat contract next summer? If he does, that'll be because he has a great season with the Lakers coming up soon. Kurt Affair makes sense. The focus was on Luka. Ayton has the same agent, Bill Duffy, probably told him to. Yeah, I'm sure the word was Luka. We'll see. But Luka, remember, he's eligible for a contract extension in August. If I was managing him, I would probably tell him not to sign it, because he, like Jokic, he can get an even bigger one next year. So, plus it puts on continual pressure for the Lakers to supposedly win. But as we've seen, the Lakers with Rob Pelinka and Jeannie, their current mindset is to, whether it's directive from Walter or not, it seems the directive now is leaning very much towards saving that money for 26 or 27. And I'm not sure that's going to be the greatest case of all. But I definitely want to hear your thoughts on Summer League. Which players are you looking forward to seeing? I know that when I go there, a lot of people exactly which players they're liking to see the most. But we will talk Beal. We will talk all the players that are, still available, about the latest rumors, innuendo, the Wigginses, the Beals, the Chris Pauls, all the stuff that I'm just like, I roll my eyes on. But the Beals, we'll talk about that too, as well, as far as Bradley Beal's concerned. But here today, he did get off the freeway. It is the man from Toronto. He did go off the Toronto freeway. Almost probably just road raged on 3 or 4 cars and people, and probably took out another 5 more. It is the Magic Man, Sean Rice. Magic Man, as Kurt Affair would say, "Aye, what's good, Shawnee?" Oh, you're on mute. I mean, or you're not on mute. You're not plugged in. Not plugged in right there, man. Got the food taken care of, but yes, that's not the mic. I set it up for you, my friend. I set it up. What's going on there? Current Affairs says, "Aye, what's good, Shawnee?" But so now Jeannie is staying 5 years tough. I'm just going to go back to what Ramona Shelburne said. Ramona Shelburne said that Jeannie would be governor for some time to come. I don't know if ultimately that's going to be the case. We'll see how that works out with her, Rob. And Mike's still dead. Mike's still dead. Yes, we'll get you going. We'll get you going here, my friend. Keep at it. Keep at it. We got you here. We got plenty of time. We'll keep going at it. But yes, tough. I don't know if she's going to be here the next 5 years, if that's the agreement, because if that's implied, what have you. But I'm just going to go based off of what Ramona Shelburne was reporting at the time, and that.
Test.
How's that? Yes, there we go. There we go. There he is.
Testing.
Yes,
I feel like doing that Bart thing where he put all the megaphones on blast and just completely made Springfield a supersonic cell, Gerald.
Well, as Kurt Affair says, it's okay, Sean. People are usually speechless after my comments anyways. So there you go.
I'm sure we're underestimating Kurt, even the legend that he is, Gerald. He must be great at parties.
I think he is. I told Kurt already over the years that he should do stand up, but
or roast. Yeah, I would love. If Kurt wanted to do a Magic Man
roast on Joe Soro. Oh yeah, he's the host. Kurt, you're the host of the Joe Soro roast. Yes, there you go.
Absolutely. Would Soro show up for his own roast, Gerald?
Oh yeah, he would. Yeah, he would. Because we would tease him relentlessly, call him all the names he doesn't like to be called, and he gets mad at in the chat on WhatsApp. I'm so hurt. I'm so hurt.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
Because Joe's known for bloviating a lot, and he also
Yes.
has a penchant for giving blow-hearted
Uh-huh.
opinions.
That's
But
true. When your famous response or most common response on WhatsApp is "I know you are, but what am I?" It just tells you exactly where it's at, Joe Soro. But we love you, Joe, wherever you're at. I know he's probably crying about the Dodgers right now. But my friend,
yeah.
the Lakers are coming to my town, Vegas, here tomorrow in 110-degree heat. And as I said before, the Thomas and Mack Center and the Cox Pavilion, the AC will be turned way up. So bring your jackets, people, if you're going to the games. What are you looking forward to when you're watching the Lakers? We'll go into as far as what players in Summer League that are not on the Lakers you're looking at. But with the Lakers specifically, starting with the game tomorrow at 5 p.m., catching on playback right there for you, 5 p.m. Pacific. After coming off of a 2-1 California Classic, coming off of that last second victory over San Antonio, what are you looking forward to seeing with the Lakers specifically in the next few games in Vegas?
Maybe some just individual improvement, Cheryl, because I mean they're running sets, right? But what I saw over the past few days was not what I would call organized basketball. I thought that there's a lot of jumbled play, which is to be expected. These are either rooks or second year players, so to speak. But I mean, honestly, Gerald, Dalton Knecht has to start just getting 35, 40 points in these games and put to rest, any apprehension that we might have as Laker fans that, he's not meeting his own expectations and the expectations that scouts had for him. And, scouts like yourself and Stone were very complimentary of his game and thought it could progress at the next level. It seems like for whatever reason he's stalled. That progress has stalled, Gerald, and he needs to get out of it because I mean, Gerald, it doesn't matter what profession you're in, right? We are used to getting out of holes, whether we dig them or somebody else has dug them for us. We're used to just climbing in holes and trying to dig out of them. And that's what Connect needs to do here mentally, Drill. Like, I'm not sure if Joe's, and it's just a speculation, but it wasn't started by Joe Soro. There's been something on the socials that there may be a distraction in Connect's life, Gerald, but I don't think that's the case. I just think there's a block in his confidence, and this happens sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. But you got to be a little bit pleased after the great game by Dalton Knecht offensively yesterday, especially scoring 13 points in the last quarter.
Mm-hmm.
Defensively, it's still a work in progress. And again, that's ultimately what I'm focused more on when I watch Dalton Knecht is now that he's going to be playing a lot more NBA caliber level players or rookies that are going to get a chance in the league. A lot of them very athletic. I'm looking to see how he will defend those players. That's a key for me. Bronny needs to be more consistent. Obviously, he can't be like what he has been in 2 games. One game is really good in 10 minutes. The other game was not so good in 15. He needs to play more, and he needs to. Well, the spotlight's on him in Cooper Flag tomorrow. They've already advertised it as Bronny versus Flag. So when you do that, you better go ahead and step up to the game. So we'll see exactly if Bronny James can step it up. There was last year here at the Summer League, and he didn't, for the most part, step up, which was kind of disappointing. But now there's no more excuses. Coming off of a 20-point plus average in the G League, he should be able to take that level as a second-year player. We talked about this. The second-year, third-year player, fourth-year players, which we'll go into more in a second, those guys are more comfortable at Summer League. they're not shell shocked by what they're about to see here tomorrow and in the following days after that. They have already experienced it and are usually more prepared physically, mentally, and athletically to take the wear and tear of the summer league. So I'm looking forward to seeing those two guys play at a better pace and a better speed and more consistently than they have been this past weekend. And hopefully they can take that forward because again, those two are the only sure things on the current summer league roster that are actually going to be in camp unless they get traded by then. So that I'm really going to take a look at with both of them. I want to ask you though, we saw Darius Baisley go for a dominating performance, 27-13 and 2 blocks. He has played very well over the weekend. He is playing for his NBA life. Cole Swider didn't have the greatest game yesterday, but did have fantastic first and second games. He was actually, I believe, leading the summer league in scoring at one point in time for the California Classic. He is playing for his NBA life. These guys are 25, 26. They're in their mid-20s. They're playing for their NBA life. They have no assurance on what their future is, whether it's with the Lakers or someone else, whether they get offered two-way or you see a cup of coffee. They're both guys on the outside looking in. I want to see how they play against better competition in the following few games. Plus DJ Stewart, who's also bounced around as well, Magic Man.
Absolutely, Gerald. There's a lot of journeymen, nomads, and never was a lot on this roster. And you're right. Gerald, we're both a fan of The Watchmen. I really liked Alan Moore's comics. And on the Doomsday Clock, I would say for, like you said, 25, 26, you're at around 5 to 12 at best. So, like you said, you're playing for your NBA life. It's this close. So, Gerald, it wouldn't shock me if a couple of these guys, or just one of them, just played out of their minds, bananas wise. And maybe the Lakers sign them. I happen to think that, Gerald, for some reason, our development of players seems to have almost a parasitic nature to it, especially in NBA circles. It's almost as if NBA teams just wait like vultures for the carry-on that the Lakers can't basically keep. So they'll wait for Caruso, or they'll wait for Kuzma, or they'll wait for somebody at KCP to come available. And ultimately, I think it's in the best nature of the Lakers to identify players, younger than, I would say, 22 at this stage, Gerald. I mean, in the summer league, and trying to develop a player, because 25, 26, you're not fully cooked as a person, but I would submit, Gerald, you are fully cooked as a player. I think you're fully cooked at that point. You're about 3 or 4 years away from your athletic plateau, and then decreases. So usually players on that level either have to deliver really fast, or they burn out and fade away.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Magic Man Sean Grice along with me, Joe Glassford. Thanks again for watching this. We truly appreciate you joining us. We are talking the Vegas Summer League, which starts tomorrow on Thursday. Go ahead and make sure you join us, playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break, because we got it covered for you starting at 5 p.m. Pacific. And then we'll do maybe a late night wrap up and whatnot. We'll see what goes on with the schedule there afterwards. So definitely looking forward to seeing what we can do to go ahead and talk about it with the Bronny versus Flag matchup that you've been waiting for a lifetime. Okay, maybe not, but it is there and whatnot. But I know I don't think it'll be. Flag is not quite the name that Wemby was. The excitement that was there, that was almost a full house, guys. That was really almost a full house. Bronny, when he was there, of course, his first year there, that was almost a full house the first time he played under the Thomas and Mack there. I don't foresee it as quite as big, but it will still probably rock at least 10,000 people there, in my opinion. So 10 to 12,000, I would probably say is a safe bet. So I'm hoping for good times out there. Whether or not I go to the game, we'll have to wait and see. It depends on everything works out. But again, I'm not 100% sure I'll go then or which day I'm going to go. But I'll get my taste of Summer League. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. But Magic Man, I want to ask you this. Who are some of the players that you are talking about as far as you thinking about and you observing, not necessarily with the Lakers, or who is exactly, on your eyes as far as what you're looking at for Summer League here in Vegas? I know with Eric Kwan was talking about Malawak as far as one of the players that he was looking forward to seeing. Com Knipple. I know that everybody's, all the Lakers and everybody's draft favorite was Com Knipple. All the experts wanted him to really good. So we're going to see how he is overall as a player outside of just being a shooter. We'll see how that develops. But it all starts with Cooper Flag, and it all starts if he's going to be the real deal, and we'll probably get a taste of that tomorrow.
100%, Gerald. And might as well kill two birds with one stone, because the Mavericks also signed a very, I think, is going to be eventual starter in the NBA, and Ryan Nembhard, who went undrafted. So we'll get a close look up at him tomorrow. Really like his game, Gerald. He's only on a two-way right now with the Mavs, so nobody's snatched him up. I think that's a mistake on NBA team's part, because this guy is like a slightly taller version of what I think can be Scottie Pippen Jr., Gerald, with a better assist to turnover ratio. So you're talking about a guy who's very productive and does not turn the ball over. Putting some players like that beside Cooper Flag, I think, is necessary, Gerald. I think what happened in college, Gerald, and you may agree, you may disagree. I thought Cooper Flag took advantage of some superior athleticism that he had over some players in college that I think is matched in the NBA. So I don't think he's going to get away with the same kind of, I wouldn't say it was like laissez-faire, like laziness or lack of focus, Jared. All I'm saying is I think Cooper measured up his athleticism versus other players in a calculated way, and I don't think he can do that as a rookie in the NBA. No one's really been ever able to get away with that, Gerald. Only a handful of players have. Kareem, Wilt, to an extent LeBron, and to an extent Derrick Rose, but those are few and far between, and they had God-given athleticism, Gerald, which is to say that I think Flag has above average athleticism in the NBA, Gerald. It's good. I would say it's not great. So I think he's going to have to learn how to play a controlled game in the NBA.
He's going to have to play at small forward with AD there, because AD, who had surgery this week for a detached retina, but is supposed to be back by training camp. He's the power forward. He gets what he wants. He's power forward. We'll see how that dynamic works. Is Cooper Flag athletic enough? Because, he was such a good defender at Duke, and both two-way player at Duke. Is he going to be able to defend the athletic small forwards in this league well enough to be able to maximize his abilities? I think it's going to be a little bit tough. I think he's a better fit at the power forward slot, and let him facilitate a lot and take care of the offense. Ultimately, I heard the point Zion thing for Zion Williamson. The point Cooper might come into play at some point in time, because, again, I've seen the kid, the way he was at Duke. Facilitating the ball was really one of his specialties. I really think at this point, small forward is not his best position, but he may be athletically enough to go ahead and still flourish in that case. If he does, that just tells you how much better he could be at power forward.
100%, Gerald. 100%. And we're going to see. I mean, can he develop a strong face up post game as a point forward? Certain players have been able to adapt to that. Certain players didn't. Going back, you can look at Bob McAdoo, Ricky Pierce, go to Vinnie Johnson, Detlef Schrempf. I'm aging myself here, Joe, but what I'm saying is the best today is Luca and SGA. So, can you develop that face-up game as a point forward or guard with guard skills in order to facilitate better shots for your teammates? Because again, I think we're saying is there's a little bit of talent askew from what he was playing at Duke to where he's going in the NBA, because the athleticism is so much different. And Gerald, you know, the last thing to develop in the NBA is your strength, and that's the biggest difference that NBA rookies find between college and pros is strength. I mean, if everybody wants to go back, if you listen to what Anthony Davis said, he said he wouldn't have come out after his freshman year at Kentucky. He would have stayed another year and developed his body from a muscular standpoint, Gerald, in order to withstand the punishment he took as a number one overall pick. So
But the NIL kind of helps with that now. Had it, looking at hindsight, if he had then what you have now as a college player, getting paid $4 million or whatever they get paid, yeah, that would have made it so much easier to stay Magic Man.
100%, Gerald. That would have been the icing on the cake, proverbial cake. So, but yeah, I mean, we're going to find out. I think his game translates well. So do you eventually. But is he a superstar? I don't. It doesn't. It doesn't like it doesn't aura. He doesn't have the aura of a superstar, Gerald. You don't see it. You don't feel it. Is it there? We're gonna find out.
Frank says Cooper is going to do you all a favor by dunking on Bron. I'm not going to disagree with that. He's going to probably do at least one highlight dunk at some point in time in summer league.
Frank, you know who's going to remember that during the regular season, right?
Oh yeah. Daddy will come to the rescue. And Bronny
would I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that if I was Cooper.
Don't we wish, Frank, Bronny would retire early after being dunked, after being posterized?
I mean, Gerald, he would, but Cooper Flag would also pee his pants and tie his tail between his legs and leave the airline's arena.
Mm-hmm. I do want to say, Frank, though, I want to see him play at small forward, because him playing a power forward or even a center here, I think he needs to get to work in a small forward to start off, because that's where they project him to be starting games or playing a good chunk of the minutes on. I understand with rotations and whatnot, he'll play 4, might even play 5, what have you, Frank. But I really think they should start him off playing at the small forward position tomorrow against the Lakers, and then going from there as far as being able to guard small forwards. Let's see him run around screens for Dalton Knecht or Cole Swider. I mean, one thing that those two guys can do, obviously, is hit the jumper from the outside, but being able to go ahead and run around those screens, that's obviously something that you have to start getting used to as far as the NBA life. And Cooper Flag, I think, is going to get a little bit of an education on that. But I will say Cooper Flag looks like he's going to be a keeper. Looks like he's going to be ready for it. And I don't doubt his ability at all, Frank. And I think you guys got a really good player. Again, the question is, will he be able to thrive as a 3, or does he need to move to a 4 and AD moved out?
Well, and Gerald, they also have that problem at the guard position. Like, what are you doing here? D'Angelo Russell, Spencer Dinwiddie, Jalen Hardy, Brandon Williams. It's like the island of misfit toys with guards surrounding Cooper Flag. I don't know what they're trying to surround him with.
They're just putting Band-Aids until
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, at this point, Dinwiddie is a turnstile when it comes to defense.
Dinwiddie's gone, by the way. Dinwiddie's gone.
Yeah.
That's confirmed by Frank. Must see Spencer Dinwiddie. Yeah, he's gone. He is no longer on the roster, so you don't have to deal with him because
But
Hornets. He
Brand,
went to
but
Hornets. He went to
oh
the Hornets, by the way.
God, whatever. Oh sure, but I mean, okay, still you're stuck with Brandon Williams, Jalen Hardy, and you're gonna have to play Cooper Flag at the one, Gerald, because you don't have many options. So I
You don't
mean,
have it. Yeah,
he is going to
it's gonna
get
be fun
he's
to
going to
watch.
get looks for the at the point guard slot because there's not a lot of option. Like Jalen Hardy is and God forbid we don't mention Max Christie. Gerald, got to shout Max Christie out there. I mean,
If you have to.
is he going to be an all-star next year surrounded with Cooper Flag and Anthony
Well, if he can get
Davis?
to the point where he's young, and if he can get to the point where he's the regular starting shooting guard, I think Frank would be happy with that. I think a lot of people would be happy with that. I don't know. He was given that opportunity when he got off to that real hot start when the Lakers traded him to the Dallas Mavericks. He was sizzling coming off the bench, got the starting
And
job.
even
Frank knows it,
yeah.
and he couldn't keep it, and he just
And,
couldn't keep it because his play did play. Yeah,
well,
so
so we're gonna find out because they're atrocious defensively from the guard position, even with the return of Kyrie. Kyrie, Jalen Hardy, Brandon Williams, D'Angelo
I think
Russell,
Christie tempers that
Christie.
a bit.
Yeah, a little bit, but I mean, I would still say you're below average. Uh,
So one of the other players I want you to ask, we talked about VJ Edgecombe.
mhm.
Really, really outstanding performance, 28 points in his first game. I'm really interested to see, we talked about guard situation in Philadelphia and where he's going to fit in. What if he does really continue to look impressive game by game by game by game? That's going to force Philadelphia and Nick Nurse to make possible changes along that backcourt in order to get more time for VJ Edgecombe sooner rather than later.
Yes, Gerald, and fortunately for the 76ers, they held on to that lottery pick by the chin of their chinny chin chin and were able to get a very good player after the draft lottery. I would explain the situation like this if I was Daryl Morey to Paul George. Um, Nick Nurse is that coach. He decides who plays and who doesn't. Uh, I'll just say I would just tell him, your contract is valuable in the NBA, Paul. That's what we're looking at right here because I think the value as a player, Gerald, in this situation is a sum zero. You're not going to make your team better on the floor playing him more than um having Edgecombe or McCain or Maxi on the bench with him and Eric Gordon or God knows whoever Nick Nurse might
I
decide.
agree with Frank. He looks like a shooting guard to me. He does not look like, unless you're going to a 3 guard lineup, he does not look like as far as big enough yet to be a small forward, in my
We'll
opinion, as
see. He
well.
might fill out
I,
physically. You don't know yet, but yeah,
I,
so far, yeah, I would say that. But I'll also say this: there's no reason why you can't experiment with playing McCain and Maxi with VJ Edgecombe because defensively he's a menace. I mean, OKC has had no problems playing SGA with Alex Caruso and Lou Dort, Gerald, or Wallace and Wiggins. So I don't see any reason why there can't be an experiment here with those 3 guards. That being said, I mean, does that then make Paul George a 4, Gerald? Is Paul George a 4 now in the NBA given his situation with his injuries
and his
and
age. Yep.
yeah, are you a glorified 4 now, Paul? So
Well, they have some open spots, and it would be at the 4 position. It would be right now. And who knows what's going to go on with Joel Embiid and his health situation going forward. So interesting how Paul George would take playing at the 3 or the 4 position on a
because I
more
yeah, because I
regular
don't
basis.
yeah, I would challenge him Like, you're not a guard anymore, Paul.
Mhm. Absolutely. It is, of course, Magic Man Sean Grice, along with me, Joe Glassford. Thanks again for watching us and truly appreciate it. It is the Lakers Fast Break. We are previewing a Summer League. And then, yes, we will go ahead and hit up on some of these rumors and innuendo that Magic Man and I love oh so much. I know some of these other channels just thrive on it. The whatever latest rumor player is going to be here. Sometimes I do it too for shows, but we'll go ahead and touch on it because Laker Tom, he is, as I mentioned, at Laker Tom on Twitter. He's tweeting out there. Other people are too. So we'll go ahead and talk about
what's your favorite from Laker Tom so far, Gerald? What's the whopper that got your attention?
Well, he's now focused on Wiggins and also as well. He's been Marcus Smart. He's been Marcus Smart focused for weeks now, and I'm just asking myself why. I mean, the guy's on the downside of his career. He did shoot a little bit better from three this past season, but he's still on a $21 million contract. The Lakers, if they're not trading for actual good players, they're not going to be trading for guys like Wiggins and Smart. These guys are on the backside of their careers, and those guys are both in the 20s as far as their millions, how much money they're owed as far as the seasons that they're owed. 21 on an expiring contract. Washington is trying to get as much money off the books for next summer as possible. So there's no real interest for Washington to go ahead and trade Marcus Smart with 21 million coming off the books for them. I will say that a buyout for him is a definite possibility. So be on the lookout for that. And as the Lakers don't get the Bradley Beal sweepstakes, which seemingly looks like more and more each day that he's either going to go to the Clippers or Milwaukee because they have open starting spots at both those locations. And sorry to say, guys, Austin Reeves is still the shooting guard for the Lakers, and I don't think he'll take kindly to going back to the sixth man coming off the bench in lieu of Bradley Beal. So I think the favorite right now has to be the Clippers or Milwaukee. But again, those are the two latest rumors. But Wiggins. Why would you want Wiggins? Wiggins' best days were the finals.
Gerald,
was the MVP.
Yeah, I think you'll
those days are gone.
I think those days are long gone, Gerald. Long gone. That was a long time ago. I know it doesn't feel that way, but in the NBA, it was a long time ago. I think you'll appreciate this, Gerald. On the weekends, I like going to the international market, Gerald, in Toronto. It's a big warehouse. Clothing, food, just about anything you can name. So I was buying some delicious plantains and some dried mangoes from your wife's country of origin, the Philippines, which are delicious. They make excellent dried mangoes. But I happened to see a man wearing a Heat jersey, and I was wearing my Lakers gear. And the topic of Wiggins came up. And yes, Gerald, to quote South Park, when he mentioned that Miami wanted a first-round pick. Well, you could get out. You could get out.
Why would you?
Why?
Okay, you and I have
Rui Connect and a first. You could get out.
You and I have gone back and forth with guys like Joe and Empire Jeff because we want the Lakers to go all in now. We see an opening for the Lakers, and we want to go in all in now with good players that you can trade your expiring assets for. That is not a good enough player to move your expiring assets for.
3 for 1? No.
Yeah, and neither is Marcus Smart. These guys are just not going to move the needle, as I say all the time, in the right direction far enough. I want the Lakers to go all in. I want them to go all in today, this year, right now, what have you. But if they don't have the right players they can go all in for, why do it? I'm not just going to go ahead and grab a name.
And Gerald, you have to get you have to basically hit on all of these. Like 2020, they're all hits. All hits. Caruso was a hit. Bradley was a hit before COVID happened. Howard was a hit. McGee was a hit. They were all hits. Boom, 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 boom. One after the other. Marcus Smart isn't going to be a hit. Neither is Wiggins. Those aren't hits. Those don't get us where we need to be.
Well, again, if it's bought out, that's a different conversation, Thameless, because I know Thameless wants to know our thoughts on Marcus Smart. But a guy whose career three-point shooting average is 33%. He was almost 35% with Washington last year. A little bit better, but defensively, he is not as quick and agile as he once was. Thameless, I don't think it sends the right message to go ahead and send those expiring assets that you have for a guy like Marcus Smart. It just doesn't work unless you're able to somehow con Washington into getting Vando. If you're moving Vando, that's a different conversation. But I don't think Washington that wants to get rid of all of its salary. Right now, they're targeted to have $100 million coming off the books for 2026, Nameless. They have no incentive at all to go ahead and trade with the Lakers at this point in time, unless the Lakers give them some sweet deal that they just can't resist. And that would be expiring contracts, which the Lakers also don't want to go ahead and do. And it would be expiring, but Marcus Smart does not improve your talent enough to help you win more games. He is just not that player anymore. He's not the defensive player of the year. Those days have come and gone. Wiggins is no longer the finals MVP. He is still a solid player, but not for $28 million. These are just decisions you have to make. And again, I want the Lakers to go ahead and go all out, but I want them to go out for players that will improve the Lakers' chances and not just keep them steady, Magic Man, not just keep them where they're at. These guys that keep on floating around there are just not going to help this team win in 2025, 2026.
Yeah, Gerald. No, I mean, Gerald, I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm going to do it. Gerald, Michael Cooper ain't walking through that door. Magic Johnson ain't walking through that door. Vlade Divac ain't walking through that door. Nick Van Exel ain't walking through that door. So, I mean, they have to find something here, because none of these legends are going to save your butts. I mean, I've come to realize now, Gerald, that they definitely need to address the perimeter defense this summer. You have to address it this summer, because if you're going big game hunting next summer, you're not going to have either the allocated funds and or the time it would take to get something like that. So you need to get it now. You might as well just get it now. You've already got your big fish. You need to acquire that gem of a perimeter defender that can hit the three. Now, Gerald, we've identified a few of those guys. We'll see what Pelinka does. He needs to get one.
And I just say Marcus Smart isn't expiring. So if the Lakers give them expirings in return and don't give up any draft picks, Sean, if it's expiring, I mean, if you're giving up Kleber and Vincent and it totals out to the same exact money as Marcus Smart, why not? I mean, it's all expiring, but Marcus Smart coming onto this Lakers team is not going to vastly improve the chances for the Los Angeles Lakers, no matter how much left he has in the tank.
No, it's almost like this, Gerald. You need, in order to make the playoffs, get home court advantage, you need to win games. In order to win games, you need to score points. Marcus Smart does not help you score or defend anymore. He's basically this, and his career is plateauing, and it's soon to be on the downside. You don't sign a player north of 30 whose defensive skills have waned and whose offensive skills were suspect to begin with, Gerald. I mean, Gerald, honestly, short memory once again. Does everybody out there want Marcus Smart the chucker? Because who's going to tell him not to shoot out there if he's playing
he'll
with the
piss off Joe.
bench?
Oh, Joe will be so pissed off.
So, like, don't give me this shit, all right? Because all of you out there, if you've been watching the game long enough, Smart is a glorified chucker.
He was a little bit more efficient with Washington, but yeah, it's just something where, again, the record from all of his years there indicates he's not that consistent a shooter. I know that Io Dosunmu, you guys mentioned as well. He is on an expiring at $7 million. So, I mean, if the thing is though, guys, when you're going to give up, if you're going to go after an Io or a Marcus Smart, most likely you're going to have to give up an asset, another second rounder or something like that. And again, it depends on how you value them. But Io or a Marcus Smart is not going to move the needle enough. They need multiple players coming off that bench who can really affect the outcomes of games. Again, the Lakers have one of the worst benches last season.
Yeah, we're talking about difference makers here, Jill. Are you a difference maker out there? And there are few of them available, but Marcus Smart is not one of them.
I mean, again, if you're flipping, he's an expiring. So if you're flipping him for other expirings, that's fine. Like I said, if Kleber and Vincent, if you want to flip him for a Marcus Smart, that's fine. But don't, you guys, just when if that happens, don't go do backflips, because there's a reason why Marcus Smart is on the Washington Wizards roster right now, because Memphis got tired of him and sent him packing. They just did not feel getting him from Boston was the right choice, and they obviously sent him away at this stage of his career there. Now he probably has a lot left in the tank, and he can still defend, I'm sure, at a pretty good level, and that obviously would help the Lakers. But overall, him coming on this, it's going to take more than just a Marcus Smart bringing him in, or an Io Dosunmu at this point. The Lakers need multiple pieces coming off that bench that can really affect the outcome of the games. And with the Lakers team that apparently is eyeing towards 2026 or 2027, depending on who you talk to, it's clear the Lakers have, 1 foot in on this year, but really they also apparently look like they would have 1 foot out.
Yes. Once again, we're kind of playing footsie here with whether or not we're going to go all in or not. Gerald, I expect that when the transaction of the changing of ownership happens at the Board of Governors meeting, I'm sure that the new ownership will have their marching orders, and I'm almost positive one of them will be, we need to do whatever it takes to surround Luka Doncic, an NBA superstar. And by the way, there's only about a handful of them right now, and the Lakers have one of them. And you haven't even reached his prime yet. He's still young enough to be surrounded by consistent talent where you can compete for championships year in and year out. But you need to strike, as they say, Gerald, while the iron is hot, and not when it cools off.
And that's true. And Frank is actually echoing the sentiments that a lot of other people have said about the Lakers outside the Lakers fandom and the Lakers fear, saying that he doesn't think it's possible for the Lakers to contend right now. Again, he's not the only one that's saying this. They have to rebuild again around Luka. They had opportunities, Frank, leading into the draft to get multiple assets that can affect the team now with those expiring contracts. But it's clear, again, they're doing this 1 foot in, 1 foot out type deal, gap year, whatever you want to call it, where they're getting those players like DeAndre Ayton that will help your team a little bit, or Jake LaRavia that will help your team a little bit, just to show that we are going to go ahead and try and field a team out there that's going to be competitive with most teams, but we're not going to sacrifice our future by bringing in players that have multiple years left on their contract. We are eyeing something down the road as far as 26 or 27. Maybe it is Giannis, although Giannis in 2027, when his contract, I believe, comes up, will be 33.
I think he's 33 or 34. Yes.
Yeah, in 2027. So he's not the same Giannis that you'd be going after. Jokic, yes, he did turn down the extension, but next year
Oh,
could
he
be
didn't
off.
turn it. He. To be fair, he didn't turn it down. He said he wouldn't negotiate.
Okay, well, what have you?
Well,
Next
Gerald,
year.
it's a little bit different there, right? Because if
The wording is a little bit different, but the meaning is still the same. He's not going to
yes,
do an extension this summer.
he could make
Next summer,
77 million more.
yeah. So that's obviously ever pressing on his mind. Plus, also sending the message as well. And I would not. I would say that the chances are small that Jokic leaves anytime soon before the end of the decade from away from the Denver Nuggets. I just don't see it. So if you're targeting that, I think it's a little bit foolhardy. But Giannis is definitely a possibility. Maybe Giannis is gone sooner than that. Depends. He's not said a word about his whether or not he wants to stay or go. His quietness, his silence has been deafening. If you're in Milwaukee, and I'll just leave it at that. But again, for those fans out there like us that really wanted to see a pathway for the Lakers to win now, they're going to win. They're going to be competitive. 45, 47 wins again, most likely. But because they have Luka and LeBron, and as long as you pair them up with decent guys, you're going to
I
be able
believe
to
Vegas
build a decent team.
has us at 47 and a half, Gerald.
Yes, that is correct, which is why I
I
said.
think that's a pretty accurate.
But again, that's not going to get you where we want them to go. While Boston is down, recovering, trying to rebuild, now's the time to strike while the iron's hot. You said it earlier in this show, but the problem is I don't think that the Lakers organization and the front office truly realize 100% that iron needs to be turned on for it to be hot.
Yeah, exactly. Right, Gerald. But
Yes.
touche. It just seems that they're just operating from a very cold perspective here. I mean, I really don't think Rob at this point is hot calling because Gerald, we saw a report earlier that said that when teams found out what the price was for the Lakers to acquire center, in that case it was Mark Williams, they upped the ante with Rob Pelinka and called his bluff. And so I think what's happened is that it's basically caused, a zero dark 30 moment where I think he's basically gone back into the Batcave and trying to figure out what else he could do here, Gerald. Because I mean everybody knows what the Lakers need. It's no secret. This is no secret here in this league with 30 teams. Everybody knows what everybody else needs. Are you willing to pick up that phone constantly and inquire about acquiring talent that can put you over the top with Luka Doncic? That should be the MO. Which way it is. I mean, you know what? If if it would take giving up Austin Reeves to acquire Trey Murphy the third, Gerald, I would do it.
Vernon,
I would say, and I would also say this, Gerald. If the Lakers did acquire Trey Murphy the third, Trey Murphy the third and Luka Doncic would be the most dynamic duo the NBA has seen since the Splash Brothers.
Hernan, I don't think the Lakers are moving anytime soon. I know they had a lease currently at the Staples Center / Crypt for quite some time. I mean, if they wanted their own building, they may be able to work their way out of it in order to try and get their own building, but that would be somewhere in Southern California. Vegas will most likely get an expansion team. I'm assuming before the end of the decade, they'll announce Seattle and Vegas. I think it's just inevitable, in my opinion, at this point. I don't think they'll do. Well, Joe wants to move one of the bad teams, and I don't think that's a
Not
bad.
gonna happen.
That's not a horrible thing because we're already doing it with the fantastic Oakland A's that are coming here. Oh boy, oh joy, oh joy. We say no to the movie studios coming to Vegas. that would really help the economy around here. Instead, we're going to go ahead and get the baseball stadium and get the bill for that. That bill is substantially larger for a baseball stadium to be built than for a couple of studios for Sony or Warner Brothers. Just letting everyone know, it's
Slightly,
substantially
yeah,
higher.
slightly,
I think we're on the
yeah.
hook for like 300 to 400 million.
Slightly different situations, and context is important. So I know some people have been pointing out with baseball and the A's moving. Joe and yourself and others. I will say this though. I mean, Gerald, there is a former mayor from Oakland named Libby Schaff who is responsible for the following: the Oakland Raiders leaving for Las Vegas, the Golden State Warriors who played in Oakland leaving the city of Oakland and moving their whole business structure to San Francisco. And yes, the Oakland A's moving to Las Vegas, but this was all precipitated by a bad mayor who decided that for whatever reasons, the ends justified the means when it came to policies. I would only contend that's the difference here. In the NBA, Gerald, we've seen the history with both David Stern and Adam Silver. Unlike Larry O'Brien, they'd rather see new ownership in a bad situation, Gerald, than actually move the team because it looks bad. It looks bad for your product when you're constantly shuffling all these different teams in different destinations and you can't find a home for them. It makes it dilutes your product, and 30 other 29, 26, 27 other partners are staring at you saying, guys, why are you doing this? This is our product. Like, we're a business here. You can't dilute it.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is the Magic Man, Sean Grice, along with me, Joe Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. I just saw Kurt just sent me the, if you see in the chat, how much the cost is as far as the scalping and the jacking up the prices for tomorrow's Bronny versus Cooper Flag matchup. Unless I get word from my guy and get a comp for it, I don't think I'll be there tomorrow night, but I will be there at some point in time. And I was telling him this time next week, or right there as it gets closer to the end, and everybody that's here for the NBA wants to start leaving, and all the execs left and all gone. Yeah, there are the scalpers that are begging you to take their tickets right outside the Thomas and Mack around Wednesday of next week, Thursday of next week, just to let you guys know, or as it gets closer to the end of the actual summer league. It's interesting. It just happens every year. So this time next week, if you guys want to come, that's probably the best time to come as far as the closer it is to the ending, because you'll still see some good action. You'll still see some teams that are playing to win. And you'll still see some developing talent. Just to give you an FYI, that's the best time to come to Summer League as far as for the value and for the money, because like as what Kurt showed in the chat, they're jacking up the prices indeed. But Bloodhound says the big problem with the Vegas A Stadium is that he doesn't have the finest. Yeah, of course. Bloodhound, you know who we stick it on? Us.
Taxpayer?
You know who we stick it on? You, when you come to Vegas,
the tourists,
we stick it on you. Yeah, the tourists. So the value vacation that Las Vegas once was is no longer, and that it's disappointing to see, because we always try to stick it on the tourists, and I, you can only stick so much of the bill on tourists before, guess what, they stop coming, and they're coming less this year than they have in recent years. So COVID notwithstanding. So yeah, it's kind of concerning here in Vegas, and I'll just say that.
Jill, do you think that the Super Bowl that Las Vegas hosted overall was a little underwhelming, given a lot of the media hype and speculation?
No, it was good money wise for us, and the capacity. I talked to people inside the hotel industry that I know, and it was good. WWE coming on Easter weekend, which would have been a totally dead weekend, was great for them. It's those other weeks that have been a problem, because they're down, I believe, 7 to 10% overall, depending on which casinos that you're going to right now, overall year for year. So that is of concern right now. But a lot of that, again, has to do with the pricing. And in recent weeks, A lot of them are starting to go ahead and give deals. They're suddenly bringing back free parking, which is something which used to be a staple here in Las Vegas. Then it didn't become a staple. Now it's a staple once again with a lot of places opening up their free parking and whatnot. So yeah, Vegas is a funny town that way. But again, it comes and goes in cycles, and we'll see if they learned their lesson. But yes, anytime that we, like for the stadium, and then as far as the football stadium or the baseball stadium, yeah, anytime they need any help, they just stick it on the tourists, and there you go. But a couple questions that you and I got from Frank and also Thameless. First up, Frank, question: are they trying to please LeBron with his legacy and all, or pleasing the fans that they can compete right now? Well, I mean, obviously they were obligated to go ahead and say, you know what, we have the 1 year left. I think they had their mindset was different this time last summer because they didn't know they were getting Luca handed to them on the silver platter. And now that they see, again, as Rich Paul said, however backhanded you want to call that Rich Paul comment, the comment that was two separate timelines is a true statement. Apparently, and we've seen that the Lakers are on two separate timelines where they do want to go ahead and clear up cap space for 26, 27, but they kind of want to be competitive. They kind of want to go ahead and show LeBron and Luca that they're still got a team together. And they kind of want to go ahead
You can't serve two masters,
yeah,
Gerald.
yeah, I know.
The
I
Bible
know this.
said the Bible
Yeah.
says one will despise you and the other one
Kind of,
will resent
sorta,
you. Yeah.
kind of,
You
sorta,
can't,
you know.
you can't,
Yeah,
I'm here
yeah,
today, I'm
yeah,
there
yeah,
tomorrow.
kind of. But
No.
again, getting DeAndre Ayton at a good price and Jake LaRavia at a competitive price, again, very nice. But even they are on team-friendly contracts as far as when they're going to be out of those contracts. So again, it's glaringly obvious that the Lakers are not going all in, which is again, I think, a shame. And if we don't catch up to Boston by the end of 2030, one could clearly mark at this period of time being maybe one of the reasons why the Lakers not taking more advantage of it when they had the opportunity to do so. But again, it's hindsight's 2020, and we'll see what happens. Maybe the Lakers will surprise us all. I'm hoping, there's always those fans in our chat that says the Lakers going to win it all. The Lakers going to win it all.
I mean,
I'm hoping they are going to be right, and I'm hoping no, I'm going to be wrong. So.
yes, Gerald, because when a certain ownership group had the Lakers, they surrounded one of their great guards, one Jerry West, with talent. Elgin Baylor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, excuse me, Wilt Chamberlain. But yeah, you surrounded him with as much talent as you could. Now, it is what it is in that era. However, you tried. That ownership tried. I mean, Jack Kent Cook, the Hamilton, Ontario native, Gerald tried. I mean, it took Shea Gilgeous-Alexander for Hamilton, Ontario to win a championship, but Jack Kent Cook should have had a couple of them more. And
so Frank, I just want to say, let me say, Frank, I think your thoughts. Is this just trying to please LeBron with his legacy and all that, or pleasing the fans? I think it's about pleasing the fans, but it's also kind of telling Luca, we're going to try and compete as long as you're here. We're going to try and build this around you slowly, but we're going to try and do. It's less about pleasing LeBron. It's more about pleasing the fans and Luca, who are going to be here for the long term. They hope. Magic Man.
Yes, Gerald, and to be fair, I would also reflect to Rich Paul that your client was instrumental in putting together the current CBA structure, and yet now you're complaining about the lot that you and your client have put yourselves in, and also secondarily put the franchise you play with, the Lakers, in, because at any point in time during this offseason, Gerald, Rich Paul could have advised LeBron James to decline the option and become an unrestricted free agent, and LeBron would have had a carefree exploration of any place that would want him, But he didn't. He opted in, Gerald. And that opt in also includes a no trade. So Rich Paul can't talk out of his mouth in one hand by saying, "Oh well, we know what a championship team looks like," and then at the same time say, "Well, because we have this no trade clause, we could decide where we want to go." That's true, Rich, but there are 29 other teams who can also decide whether or not they want to have your client as a problem as well.
I'll say this, Frank. Yeah, they're getting out of LeBron business. It's apparent, but unless LeBron wants to stay and become a Laker, but he's gonna if he resigns with the Lakers next season for his last hurrah or what have you, he's gonna have to do it at a very, very, very reduced rate, and I don't think his ego will allow him to do that. I'm hoping I'm wrong though, because it would be nice to see him close out his career with another good season with the Lakers. But again, we'll have to wait and see how that plays itself out. I do want to go ahead. There's two great questions. I want to go ahead and hit up with Anthony Alvera. Great to have you here as well. Truly appreciate it. Seeing your comments as well. I do want to go ahead and mention, though, what Thameless was asking about. What players, realistically, do we think that can make a difference? I would, if I was Rob Pelinka for the day, I would have immediately called New Orleans. Especially, I said this before they made that bonehead move as far as giving up the 2026 unprotected. I would have gotten in touch with them yesterday. I would have said, what is it going to take to get Trey Murphy and Herb Jones? You line them up with LeBron. You line them up with Luka and DeAndre or whatever center you want to put in there. And that's a team that can compete. That's a five that can compete, guys. And that's something that would be a realistic, however you fill out the back end of the roster, you obviously fill out with the players and whatnot. But yeah, those are the two players I would target first and foremost. Say, okay, you're going to stay in the Zion business. That's fine. Let's see what do you want for Trey Murphy and Herb Jones? Young players, both can shoot. Trey Murphy can score. He's a building block for your future. Herb Jones, the lockdown defender. These guys are going to be on a miserable team going forward because they don't have enough assets and they have to deal with the Zion fiasco and whatever they're doing as far as the mess of guards that they're doing everything with. I would want to target. I would take it this right there. I would go right there, and I'm going to go ahead and say that's where I'd go first. There are players and teams out there that you could hit up, but I would first hit up New Orleans. Who are the players, if you were realistically given the chance, would go for right now that you think could make a difference for the Los Angeles Lakers?
Gerald, you mentioned two right there because if you had that starting five, if you had Luka, Austin Reeves, Herb Jones, LeBron James, DeAndre Ayton, Trey Murphy the third is your sixth man, along with Rui Hashimura coming off the bench, and Dalton Knecht. Plus, you sprinkle in some Bronny James, some Gerald. That's a contending team. You're at that point. You're 8 players deep. You can pretty much
length. You've got size.
You've got athleticism. Yes. So that would be a great target. Actually, outside of that, Gerald, if you were looking towards the Eastern Conference, Gerald, I would definitely inquire with the Toronto Raptors about Scotty Barnes. I think if you put Scotty Barnes in a lineup with Luka and Austin Reeves, that's peanut butter and jelly because all three of those guys blend well, and Scotty Barnes would play well off both of them because all three of them love to distribute. However, Luka and Austin have that scoring touch. So Barnes would be cool with being the third guy in that scenario. Outside of that, Gerald, there are probably some names that we're not thinking about that might become available over the course of the season. Look, there's always a team or two that struggles out of the gate So I would pay attention to like the first 20, 25 games, because if there is a team out there that is struggling, you still have these, like you said, Gerald, you still have potentially these expiring contracts. You've kept your powder dry, and you're striking when the iron's hot.
Anthony, you made a good suggestion as well. Doing a cat and OG for
Mhm.
whatever is needed in return. I think you would need more than just LeBron and AR. I think you need to put in like Dalton or something to make the money work. But I see where you're headed, and I definitely would think that's something that would make the Lakers better overall as well. But that again, you guys are thinking outside the box. I like it. I like it a lot. But again, I think there were alternatives that the Lakers could have gone to, whether they're realistic or unrealistic. There are calls that could have been made, but it just seems like the Lakers again have one foot in making this team competitive, but not both feet in as far as making them a championship team sooner rather than later. But the other great question that was sent by Legend of Experiment, I know Joe Sora was in the chat earlier. So Legend, I'm sorry that he's not graced us with his presence here. But I know that's a good question. If we were Adam Silver for a day, what would you change, Magic Man? I'll let you go first. If you were Adam Silver for a day, well, first of all, you'd be bald. But Adam Silver, if you were Adam Silver for a day, what change would you make?
First change.
Mm-hmm.
All replays within the last 2 minutes of a basketball game shall be only reviewed by the NBA head office and not the 3 officials on the floor.
Okay. It's funny because that's the first thing I would do too, but I would do a little different. I'd say any replay you're doing is got to be less than 60 seconds.
Oh, that's great.
Decision is 60 seconds, you're done. I am so tired of sitting here for like 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, 7 minutes while they have to look at the same replay over and over again. If we at home can tell already what the answer is within the first time or second time we see it within the first 15 seconds, why can't these refs or why NBA front up, whoever is making the final decision on this, why can't they do this a lot sooner? They have to keep the flow of these games a lot better. If you're doing this replay system, you have to keep the flow of the game a lot better. It is so important because the fans are so tired of it. Not just Joe, because Joe rages on this every time I want to playback. It's you, it's me, it's everyone else out there. We all cannot stand. I understand your importance to get the call right, and as we've seen, they don't even get the call right every time when they're doing these replays. So let's put that out there. But I will say again, if you're going to, whatever decision you make it within 60 seconds. Boom. Let's get the play going. Let's get going on with the game. That's what we need to do. Thameless says making slam dunks worth 3 points. That's fine. I'd say that's fine.
And Thameless, great question about would New Orleans do that? Would they? We don't know. They are the most perplexing they're the most perplexing organization in NBA history to me, Thameless. Without a doubt, their entire history from Utah to here. And I would just say Gerald can say I was flabbergasted when I heard that they traded away that unprotected 2026 first round pick. And now would they decide, Gerald, that maybe we made a mistake and they apply the ABS and they'll say, okay, all right, the Lakers want Trey Murphy III and Herb Jones, and they're willing to give us their 2026 unprotected first round pick plus another unprotected first round pick. I think they take that in a heartbeat, Gerald. I really do.
All right, there you go. Absolutely great thoughts right there. It is, of course, Magic Man Sean Grice and me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. Tomorrow, it is the Lakers and Bronny James. Yay! But you know what? If he played like he did in his first game, all right, that's the Bronny James that might pique some interest for Lakers fans out there against Cooper Flagg of the Dallas Mavericks. That game is on at 5 p.m. Pacific. It's on ESPN. We will have it for you on playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. If somehow you're over around the world, you don't get ESPN, just go ahead, pop on over there. I'll give you a VIP. You can watch the game with us right there on playback.
Just out of curiosity, Gerald, we all know Cooper Flag has a younger brother. Have you seen his game, and what do you think so far?
Only a little bit of social media, and it's all highlights. So again, as the old telltale stone, the stoneism, as I call it, don't ever judge a player by the highlights. But yes, he's chip off the old block if you lace it off the highlights. But we will see how that works out. But yeah, it looks like he's going to be someone that the NBA might be interested in.
Well, how about this, Gerald? Right now, if you had to bet on a thoroughbred coming out right now, who would you put your money on for a son of a former player? Elijah
Boozer.
Arena? Yeah, not Elijah for your Trojans.
I'm just worried about the Trojans. I know that they've got a pretty good coach in there who's not just a good recruiter. He's actually Musselman's actually a good coach. So he will have
You
a better.
You think Boozer is in a much better situation?
I've liked what I've seen from Boozer, but Elijah, I'm not going to underestimate him as well. I just think Boozer probably will get better opportunities sooner. I think he's listed as a higher draft choice. I think he'll come out as a higher draft choice, and I think because of that, he will get better opportunities early. Perhaps like Ace Bailey.
Gerald,
like Ace Bailey. Ace Bailey,
okay.
People we were saying, what a mistake he did. You know what? In Utah, he's going to get all the minutes he's going to get. He's going to get all the shots and all the time. And we saw it just over the course of 2 games, what he took from game 1 and what he took into game 2 with 18 points. So he did improve upon that. I want to see how his game grows. Again, you get to put a player like that, you put him in a decent system with some decent coaches, and give him the minutes. The minutes is the key, Magic Man. The minutes to develop as a player, to get that on the floor. You can't get that in practice. You have to do it on the NBA floor. And the more minutes these kids get out there on the floor, the more you will realize what player they are going to be.
And Gerald, just out of curiosity, who do you have as number 1 for 2026? Is it Pedersen or is it Debensa?
Debensa for now, but the good thing about this upcoming draft, for the first time in maybe a year or so, it goes back to the Banchero draft for me. We really don't know 100% who that number 1 draft pick is, but there's a lot of good candidates at the top of this draft.
It's top heavy. This draft is top heavy.
It's at least a top 5 as far as players who would, I don't say they would supplant Cooper Flag, but I would say they're being the same tier.
High impact. Yes, I agree, Gerald. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Great conversation. It's so nice when we don't have a certain guy that blow Boro around. So much nicer.
Joe Blow. Sorrow.
Yes. There you go. Oh, did I say that out loud? I'm so sorry. He'll be around, yelling at us, insulting us, giving that high intellectual outburst that he gives us.
Joe says lowbrow as they come. Animal House would love to have Joe.
Yes, that's for sure, indeed. But we love Joe. We love Joe.
Gerald, what was the line? You fucked up. You trusted us. Same thing with Joe.
That it is indeed. But it is the Magic Man, Sean Grice, along with Metro Glassford. Before we head on out, we got a question from Mission 24. I don't know if you saw it, but what is one interesting thing about Sean Grice and Gerald that we don't know about?
Gerald, do you want to go first?
Yes. I've gone a little bit in my background in Hollywood. I'd probably say the fact that I have a credit on Double Dragon. So if you watch the movie Double Dragon, you will actually see a listed credit for me in the credits, and not as just some extra or something like that. It's actually part of the special effects team at Pacific Data Images. So If you
That-
see Robert Patrick doing the, as far as in that movie, or Scott Fox, I forget the other kid's name. As far as Double Dragon's concerned, you'll see me there with the listed credit. And I don't know if I'm still on IMDb or not, but I know I was at one time. But yeah, there I am. Sean?
Gerald, I am ambidextrous. I can use both my right and left hands equally.
So as Joe would say, you can slap him with
Yes.
your right and left hand with the
Yes.
same intention?
Yes, right. Like
yes, Anthony
your
came
your
out
head,
at
your head would squash like a cantaloupe, Joe.
there you go. Okay, so you can hit Joe with equal force from both sides. Okay, that's good
Yes.
to know. That might come in
Yes.
handy for you.
The
'Cause he
PSI,
usually threatens violence.
he would feel the PSI on both sides of his
Okay, because he threatens violence on
cheekbones.
us. You guys don't know this. He threatens violence on us quite constantly on a daily basis. It's like not a day goes by without some threats of violence to us. The thing is, we own him so much in our conversations on WhatsApp and all these other, outlets that I think he gets a little angry at us at times. So, it just gets boring. I own Joe in these conversations all the time. Indeed. But yes, Anthony, Double Dragon. Joe's just going to be like, Anthony says Double Dragon has a movie. Yes. Came out 93, 94. It is available on VHS if you can find it. Actually, might be worth something in that case. I know my mom still has it somewhere. But yeah, if you see it come out, or if it's out on streaming, what have you, yes.
Well, this is after Robert Patrick played TH-1000 in Judgment Day, so that
This
was
is when
really cool.
It's the words cashing in. And it's not even that good of special effects. I mean, I worked on it, and I can tell you it's not good. But again, they got what they paid for. They only paid you a certain amount. So as a special effects house, we could only give you a special effects, as far as to coincide with that. One of the best projects I was, Species, was probably one of the best projects I worked on. The most detailed, probably the one that a lot of people remember. I mean, I worked on a lot as far as our company worked on a lot. I worked for two, Boss Film Studios and Pacific Data Images. A lot of the stuff I did was wire, or our company did was wire removal. So that's not too exciting. Like the wire runs, not wire runs. One with Meryl Streep where she and Kevin Bacon's like an evil dude. I forget that was called.
Oh well, yeah,
the river runs through it. Yeah.
No, it's
yeah,
not the river runs through it. It's I forget what it's, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yes, I will say that we. I wish, Kurt, I was a stand-in. That would pay more than what I got paid by Pacific Data Images. But yeah, we just we called it the wire runs through it because all we were doing was removing lots
the
of
River
wires.
Wild. That's what
Yes,
it is.
the River Wild. That's it. Yes, the River Wild. Yeah, I worked on like 15 different movies, but most of them was just all little busy work stuff like that and whatnot. But yes, it was interesting because my friend and I, who's still in the industry, we were working at Boss Film Studios on Species, and we had all these pictures of Natasha Hendrich, and they were quite revealing. And I'll just say that in various ways, but you have to, because that's what she was wearing. With the Species, the whole thing was just like all over the place. But they're all up.
Explicitly rated.
I don't remember how revealing they were. I just want to say they were in various statements of reveal because of her character needed to be as such, and you need to create the special effects around it. But they're up all over our studios and whatnot. It's like, and they come in and they visit us one day and they're like, it's like, yeah, not exactly the greatest thing you want to put there, but Species was fun to work. Outbreak was also pretty cool to work on too. Do the because one of the favorite ones I have is when who is the kid? McDreamy. He's there. He's one of the first people to get sick in the movie, and he coughs. And we had to do the droplets and how the droplets transferred not just in other people's mouths, but going through the vent system. And I thought that was a cool shot that we worked on. So Just give you guys a little heads up. It's great. The best part of being in special effects industry was each day going to dailies and seeing your work progress over a period of time from each shot to each shot. Some shots would take like just a couple weeks. Some shots would take like months to work on. And just that part of it was fascinating, but a lot of long hours. I will say that. Yeah, Anthony. Yeah, she was very attractive, Natasha Hitchens. I'll leave it at that. But Kurt says, "Did I like Superman 2025?" I am not at liberty to tell you, Kurt, unless you're a member of the Lakers Fast Break, because it's right now available. My review is for members only until later this week when I will debut it on the Pop Culture Cosmos, and then I can tell you guys and talk about it here on the channel later this week. But right now, it is available for members right now, Magic Man. Full review of it.
Wonderful, Gerald. This should probably be for your Pop Culture Cosmos, but I have two questions for you. One, have you seen the following shows? One, Lazarus. Two, Creature Commandos. And what would your verdict be on them?
Creature Commandos, it's not the way I would want to start my universe. Then again, is it really a start of the universe if there's other individuals from the past and the Snyderverse?
I thought James Gunn went back to what he's good at, though.
Because John Cena's got a Peacemaker season 2 coming up that's supposed to be tying into all this. Because you guys, that's not spoilers. It's already been out there in trailers. Start fresh. If I was told James Gunn, start fresh. Forget about the other Batmans. Forget about anything else. Forget about Creature Commandos or anything. Creature Commandos is kind of supposed to be the start of his universe. Forget everything else. Start fresh.
Yeah, I agree. Because it kind of feels like a Guardians kind of.
Yeah. Creature Commandos is fine for what it is. But
I liked it.
That's all right. And yes, Thameless, I like crispy lumpia. If there's a couple places in Seattle that have the best lumpia I've ever tasted in my life, and there's a Hawaiian place near Seattle. I forget where. If you guys ever go in Seattle, if you're heading to Seattle and you need to know, just hit me up at LakersFastBreak@yahoo.com and I'll look it up. But there was a Hawaiian place, not in Seattle, but on one of the outskirting towns. That was just fantastic. Absolutely.
Yeah, Gerald, I have to say my favorite character from Creature Commandos was G.I. Robot. I thought Sean Gunn just did a great job with him.
Oh, yeah. And he's playing a different role this time around as Superman, but that I don't know if everybody knows who that is. So I'll just let you guys know. But again, I'll be able to talk more freely about it on the weekend or on the Pop Culture Cosmos coming up here. But if you want to know my review now, is $2.99 a month just to become a member. And it's available right now on this YouTube channel, Lakers Fast Break. So go ahead and check it out. My entire thoughts on it. I put a lot of work into it. I was writing until about 4:30 this morning on it. So hopefully you will like it indeed. But Magic Man, again, great conversation to have you here. Xbox, I think first week it's going to be very strong to go ahead and see. I think my guess is 400 million in its first weekend, maybe 350, but I think it'll do more than Jurassic Park or Jurassic World Rebirth or whatever the hell they call it, Jurassic Rebirth. I think it will do more than that this weekend. So there you go, Kurt. Exactly. You and I know. Yes, you've been reading absolutely what's going on. But again, I have my thoughts on it now because I can't give you any thoughts on it more than that. But yes, I have it available for you if you remember. And this weekend we could talk freely about it because everybody that wants to see it will probably have seen it by then. So Magic, just been great conversation with you. Any last thoughts on the verge of Vegas Summer League? Man, I remember the days, $10. You go in, you sit all day, you go right down to the front. You're sitting there next to a Pat Riley, a Jerry West. Those guys were all just sitting on the other end of the aisle with you. We're just sitting there in the bleachers. We're all just watching the game. You could hear the squeaks of the sneak. In fact, a lot of these other games later on will have like no audience, but that's one thing. But yeah, I just remember those days when earlier years in Vegas. I will miss them fondly. But again, this is big money for the league. It's now all about what they can put out on TV and make it a TV product now. I get it. So I understand it. I will try to go at least one of the games or one of the days upcoming. You guys have my word on that. But Magic Man, any less? Oh, Xbox.
I remember
Xbox is always thinking with his eyes, and I'll just leave it at that. Go ahead before we head it out, my friend.
Well, you know something, Gerald? I remember a few years ago, Gerald braved the elements, did a live feed from outside the Thomas Mack Arena, and he was almost melting like a popsicle because that heat wave looked pretty bad in Vegas, Gerald, even by Vegas standards. So hopefully you can find a nice cool day to go see Gerald, or maybe it'll rain in the afternoon. You could take a little drive. No, not gonna happen.
Oh, yeah. If it rains for 5 minutes, and then guess what? Back to the heat.
Well, hey, Lake Tahoe got snow in July. I saw that. So Vegas gets snow in July. And
John, if John's coming up here, because John said he may come up and see me, I'll go ahead and pay tickets for that. Yeah, if he does come up. But yes, if you are coming up here to Vegas, if you are flying in, bring a jacket, because you will pay the price. You go from 110 degrees to 30 in a matter of seconds when you walk in that door at the Thomas and Mack Arena. I don't know. Maybe they'll turn it down this year, but I don't think so. People are complaining for years now.
And John, you and Joe need to have that basketball game. So Joe will bring the basketball, and you bring the. They can't
be talking that talk without walking that walk.
Yeah, because I have a feeling Joe will bring the basketball, and John brings the Vaseline.
Oh, I just say this: I was ready and willing to ref it. I was ready and willing to go ahead and put it on video, live video for everyone there. If it does happen, guys, between John and Joe, if you ever miss that, I think I'm going to make a short out of it one of these days.
I think you're a pussy, Soro. I think you're a pussy. I think you're a pussy when it comes to John challenging you for a basketball game.
I'm going to make it so, because if you guys missed it, it was about a month ago. They talked a whole bunch of smack on the air to each other about a basketball game, said they were coming down. One of the, I thought they were coming down both to Vegas to do this, but again, I'll find them a court. They won't have to worry about that. I'll find them a spot. No problem. Nah. So at least I think John may still come, but Joe is. There you go. Kurt has got the best right there. Kurt, this is exactly why you need to become a comedian or a writer for a sitcom. Hollywood needs you, my friend. Hollywood needs you indeed. Joe will bring the basketball, and John will bring the defibrillator. I'm telling you, your calling is to be if you don't want to be on stage, just be a writer for a sitcom. Dude, you'll be making some bank. But it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. Kurt, Fameless, Anthony, Xbox, doing the great job modding as always. Everybody else out there that watched or listened to this, truly cannot thank you enough. Again, be with us tomorrow on Playback, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll go ahead and sometime tomorrow night have a show recapping the game, recapping the great matchup between Bronny James and Cooper Flag as only we can. Hopefully we'll do it with a smile on our face. And hopefully we'll do it with you always right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Have a great evening, everyone. Be safe.
Joe, if you don't face John, you're the wimp CEO.
I mean, the challenge was put out there. I'll make a short of it, guys. That's what I'm saying. Before the other week, I'll make a short out of it, and I'll repost it. You guys will like it.